Imagine, if you will, a crisp autumn night, the kind where the air holds the scent of dying leaves and wood smoke. You're driving home, perhaps with loved ones, through the quiet, winding roads of a small American town. The radio plays softly, a familiar tune, a comforting lullaby to the day's end. Everything is normal, predictable, safe. But what if in the blink of an eye, that normalcy shattered? What if from the inky blackness beyond your headlights, something emerged? Something that defied explanation. Something that violated every law of nature you thought you understood. An entity with eyes that burned like embers in the darkness. A searing crimson gaze that seemed to bore into your very soul. And wings that eclipsed the moon itself. An entity that seemed to watch you, to follow you, with an intelligence that chilled you to your very core, turning a peaceful drive into a desperate flight for survival. What if this encounter wasn't just a fleeting nightmare, but a prelude, a terrifying herald of a tragedy yet to unfold? This is the story of the Mothman, a creature born of shadow and fear, a mystery that has haunted the sleepy town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, for decades. Was it merely a trick of the light, a shared delusion, an urban legend whispered in the dark? Or was it something far more profound, a chilling omen of doom, a warning that went unheard? Our journey into the heart of this enigma began on November 15th, 1966. Two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Millette, were driving through a secluded area known as the TNT area, a labyrinth of abandoned bunkers and desolate roads, remnants of a World War II munitions plant outside Point Pleasant, the kind of place perfect for late-night drives, or for something else to lurk, unseen and unheard. Suddenly, their headlights caught something. Standing in the darkness, near the entrance to one of the TNT bunkers, was a creature unlike anything they had ever seen. A towering figure, estimated to be 6 to 7 feet tall, with immense wings folded against its back, and skin described as grayish or black, almost leathery. But it was its eyes that truly mesmerized them. Two enormous, intensely glowing red circles that seemed to stare, unblinking, into their very souls, reflecting the terror in their own.
Panic seized them. Roger Scarberry slammed on the accelerator, desperate to escape the nightmare before them. But the creature, with a single, powerful beat of its colossal wings, launched itself into the air. It pursued them, keeping a chillingly precise pace with their accelerating car, even as it reached speeds of 100 miles per hour down the twisting, unlit roads. They reported a high-pitched screeching sound, an inhuman cry that echoed their own raw, visceral terror. When they finally reached the perceived safety of the Point Pleasant Sheriff's Office, Deputy Millard Halstead was struck by their genuine, undeniable terror. This was not a prank. These people were truly, utterly shaken to their core. The next day, the story hit the local papers, and the floodgates opened. More sightings poured in. A family claimed the creature appeared on their porch, peering in. Contractor Newell Partridge reported his TV emitting strange buzzing noises and his dog disappearing after encountering eerie red-eyed lights in a field near his home. Two volunteer firemen described a large bird with red eyes, soaring silently. Over the next 13 months, the sightings escalated into a full-blown phenomenon. Over 100 credible reports surfaced, many from the same desolate TNT area, a location that seemed to magnetize the inexplicable. Witnesses consistently described a creature, clumsy on the ground, almost gangly, but capable of effortless, silent gliding through the air once aloft. Some even claimed it emitted radiation or caused physical ailments like burning eyes after close encounters. The local press, possibly inspired by the Batman TV series villain Killer Moth, gave it a name that would echo through history: the Mothman. So what exactly is the Mothman? At its core, it is a humanoid cryptid, a creature whose existence is unproven by conventional science, yet whose legend persists with an almost religious fervor. It's described consistently: a formidable 6 to 7 foot tall bipedal figure, often gray or black in color, with massive bat-like wings spanning up to 10 feet. But its most iconic feature, the one that burned itself into the minds of all who encountered it, were those piercing, glowing red eyes, often described as hypnotic, radiating an intense, unsettling energy. From November 1966 to December 1967, Point Pleasant became the epicenter of a baffling phenomenon that stretched the bounds of belief. Was it a monstrous bird, a supernatural entity, an alien visitor, or something else entirely? For a community gripped by an escalating sense of unease and outright fear, the answer remained elusive. People armed themselves, organized hunts, convinced they could track and capture this phantom. But no physical evidence, no footprints, no telltale feathers, no remains was ever found. The Mothman was an apparition, leaving only profound terror and a growing list of unanswered questions.
But the legend of the Mothman would not be confined to a mere string of unsettling encounters. It would soon become inextricably linked to one of the most devastating tragedies in West Virginia's history, an event that would forever embed the winged horror into the annals of local folklore, transforming it from a simple cryptid into something far more chilling: an omen, a living prophecy of unimaginable catastrophe. December 15th, 1967, a date etched in blood and steel into the collective memory of Point Pleasant. During the height of rush hour, the Silver Bridge, a vital connection spanning the Ohio River, suddenly and catastrophically failed. In a matter of agonizing seconds, the proud structure buckled, twisted, and plunged into the icy, churning waters below, claiming the lives of 46 innocent people and irrevocably scarring the community. Investigations later confirmed the cause: a tiny 0.1-inch crack in a single eyeball, a critical link in the bridge's suspension system. This minuscule defect, exacerbated by corrosion, heavy traffic, and the bridge's non-redundant design, which lacked backup supports, led to a chain reaction of failure. A structural failure, a flaw in engineering, not an act of supernatural malice. This disaster would tragically lead to federal bridge inspection laws in 1968, a legacy born of immense loss. Yet, for many in Point Pleasant, the timing of the collapse, coming just as the Mothman sightings mysteriously ceased, was too profound to be mere coincidence. This tragic event cemented the creature's status as a harbinger of disaster. Was it a conscious warning, a supernatural connection, or a post hoc rationalization, a way for a traumatized community to find meaning in an unexplainable, senseless horror? Skeptics, armed with logic and scientific reasoning, offer a different narrative entirely. Wildlife biologist Robert L. Smith from West Virginia University proposed that the initial sightings were simply misidentifications of large native birds, specifically the sandhill crane. These majestic birds boast an impressive 7-foot wingspan and a distinctive reddish area around their eyes, perfectly aligning with some witness descriptions of the Mothman's size and eye color. They were possibly off their migratory route, disoriented by the landscape or unusual weather conditions. Skeptical investigator Joe Nickel of the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry
takes this rational explanation further. He suggests the glowing eyes are a classic red eye effect, a common physiological phenomenon when light reflects off an animal's retina in the dark. Owls or herons, for instance, exhibit this prominently. And in a crucial piece of evidence, a snowy owl with a formidable 5-foot wingspan was actually shot in Point Pleasant in 1966. A powerful, large bird that, under the stress of fear and the cover of darkness, could easily be misunderstood for something far more sinister. That very owl now rests preserved in the Mothman Museum, a silent, feathered testament to a plausible alternative to the paranormal.
Yet, for many, these rational explanations, while compelling, fall maddeningly short. How does a sandhill crane or an owl, no matter its size, chase a car at 100 miles per hour, keeping perfect pace? How do they account for the sheer, unadulterated terror, the consistent, detailed descriptions from multiple, unrelated witnesses? And what of the even stranger claims that emerged from Point Pleasant during that chilling year? The reports of UFOs, poltergeist activity, and the chilling visits from the Men in Black. Paranormal investigator John A. Keel, in his influential 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies, refused to accept simple explanations. He described the Mothman as an ultra-terrestrial or interdimensional being, intricately linked to a wider wave of UFO sightings and precognition that plagued the region. Keel reported Point Pleasant residents experiencing not just the Mothman, but also strange lights in the sky, poltergeist phenomena within their homes, and visits from mysterious, pale, awkward men in black suits driving unmarked cars. These Men in Black, or MIB, would often warn witnesses against discussing their encounters, fueling rampant theories of government cover-ups, alien scout missions, or even an escaped biological experiment from the very TNT area where it all began. For these believers, the Mothman wasn't just a cryptid, it was a nexus of paranormal activity, a focal point for something truly alien, something beyond our comprehension, a harbinger of a reality far stranger than we dare to imagine. It was a warning, not just of a collapsing bridge, but of a veil thinning between worlds, a glimpse into a cosmic tapestry beyond our understanding.
Today, the Mothman is more than just a cryptid. It's a profound cultural icon. Point Pleasant, once a town gripped by terror, now proudly embraces its dark legend. The annual Mothman Festival draws thousands of visitors from across the globe. A 12-foot steel statue by artist Bob Roach stands as a stark sentinel downtown. And the Mothman Museum meticulously preserves every scrap of evidence, every whisper of the tale, every newspaper clipping from that fateful year. It's a testament to the enduring power of a story, a narrative woven from fear, tragedy, and the uniquely human need to explain the inexplicable. But beyond the festivals and the thriving dark tourism, the core mystery remains. Was the Mothman a genuine flesh and blood creature, an undiscovered species lurking in the deep forgotten shadows of West Virginia? Or was it an elaborate string of misidentifications fueled by mass hysteria, media sensationalism, and a collective psychological response to an impending disaster? A phantom created by the human mind, desperate to find a reason, a warning, in the face of random, senseless tragedy. Perhaps the true power of the Mothman isn't in its physical reality, but in its profound symbolic weight. A primal fear made manifest, a shadow cast by our own anxieties about the unknown, about fate, about the terrifying fragility of human life and the structures we build. What does it say about us that we cling so fiercely to the idea of a warning, even from a monster, rather than accepting the cold, hard randomness of a steel beam failing under pressure? Is it a coping mechanism, a way to impose order on a chaotic world? The Mothman of Point Pleasant, a haunting echo from a winter night in 1966, a winged enigma forever poised on the thin edge between rational explanation and profound paranormal belief. Did it truly appear, a terrifying herald of doom, attempting to deliver a desperate, unheeded message? Or did we, in our darkest hours, simply need it to be real, to make sense of the senseless, to believe that someone or something out there is watching and perhaps even caring enough to warn us? The Veil Archives will leave you with this chilling thought. Some questions are perhaps best left unanswered, for in the shadows of our uncertainty, the most unsettling truths often reside. And sometimes, the scariest monsters are not just the ones we create ourselves, but the ones that awaken within us, changing our perception of reality forever.